Okay, so nothing has really changed and shaped our society more than television. Once they invented TV, they basically brainwashed entire generations for decades. For the longest time, the only place you could get any information, or well, the only place where people went to get news or anything, it was basically the television. Like, unless you're planning on going to the library and looking up books yourself in your home, everybody was turning on the TV every night. And every night, every family would gather around the television and turn it on, and they'd watch the same shows that everyone else in the country was watching, all being programmed by the same programming. So you notice a lot of the changes in society happened after television was introduced. First we had a society that was very similar to the type of society that people have had for thousands of years. A lot of the same type of gender roles, a lot of the same type of ideas that existed for thousands of years existed in our society for the longest time, and they tried to distort these things as much as they could, but they couldn't until along comes television. Then once they get a TV in everybody's house, next thing you know, and the entire society, the entire culture begins to change and gets shaped. And it's not until the internet gets invented that suddenly people start deprogramming themselves from the television, and they start waking up and getting red pilled, so to speak. So you have to understand that the generations that came before us, like the baby boomers and the generations after that, they have been nothing but brainwashed by hours upon hours of television programming. Like the average family watched 5 hours of TV a day or something. Okay, that's 5 hours of you watching only what they want you to watch. And the TV that you're watching, it starts off with only a few channels. You only got 3 channels. You only got 3 opinions you can listen to. You only got 3 programs you can look up. And then as things grow, you end up with more and more programs, but all the programs you're getting is basically more of the same. So yeah, you got 100 or channels that become 1,000 channels, that become 1,000,000 channels. Now you have 1,000,000 channels on TV, and there's still nothing on. Anyway, so let's take a look at some of the programming they've done over the years. Now here we have Three's Company. Now back when this show first came out, people were not ready for gay rights or anything to be pushed on them. They had not yet been programmed to accept that. So what they did is they introduced a show like Three's Company, where you have a guy who moves in with these 2 girls, but he pretends to be gay. Okay? And by having a guy, because it's not acceptable to have a gay character on a TV show, or a gay person be a main character on a TV show. But it is acceptable to have a main character pretend to be gay. And in this way you start normalizing homosexuality until eventually you end up with the 90s, and next thing you know, you got Will and Grace, and they're having a gay wedding on TV in the 90s. And this wouldn't have been possible without the slowly introducing people to these ideas generation after generation with this programming. And they always wait till the older generation dies off before they actually push things further, because they know the older generation will resist. Here we have this is an episode of All in the Family where the man, this is a cross-dresser by the way, where Archie ends up saving a girl's life by using mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on her. The only thing is, the funny part is, he finds out later that the person he saves is actually a guy, not a girl at all. At some point, he takes his wig off. Yeah, there you go, see? So this is them introducing, back in the 60s, cross-dressing as normal. And then you have the Drew Carey show, where this is a dude in drag, that's Drew Carey's brother. And the whole idea of the show is, hey, Drew Carey's brother is a cross-dresser, but he's still a man. He just has his quirk where he dresses as a girl, that's all. So that's them just like introducing cross-dressing, which then leads to them introducing, I think that's a guy in a dress too. Yeah, that is a guy in a dress. And then that leads them into introducing transgenderism, right? And then you have your first transgender models and all of that stuff. This is how they're like conditioning you over time. And then you get shows like I Love Lucy, right? It's a white girl, blonde or red hair, right? Descendant of some Aryan genetics, and then she's married to a Cuban. And this is like introducing the multicultural society, the multiracial society, the pushing the interracial mixing agenda to water down the human race, because each race has these unique characteristics to us, and when you intermix all the races, you destroy those unique characteristics. So interracial mixing isn't about improving humanity, it's about watering us down. And that's why you get shows like this, Guess Who's Coming Home for Dinner, where they introduce people to this idea that here's a white blonde girl who brings home a black man in order to have interracial marriage with. And, you know, let's hear what Muhammad Ali has to say about interracial marriage. I wouldn't mind hearing his opinions.
More sense and cause less pain all round in the struggle for in this battle if it was integration rather than separatism. I mean, why do you reject integration?
Well, I tell you, number one, we don't want to start the people to thinking wrong. We don't hate nobody. But Elijah Muhammad teaches us the truth of God that's never been taught to our people, or nobody really. He teaches us that God beautified the planet Earth by separating everybody in different countries to themselves. Chinese are in China, Englishmen in England, Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico, Ethiopians in Ethiopia, Arabians in Arabia, Egyptians in Egypt. And the Americans took that country anyway and then stole us. So you're going to always have chaos and trouble. It's a savage country. And I understand that the worst people in England at that time were ran to America for some reason, and to that part of the world. And then the slavery came and Americans.
I had to skip ahead because I only got like 3 minutes left and I don't have enough time to play the whole
makes
video.
all the guns, all the machines, all the bullets. Person watching this show, no intelligent white man in his or her right white mind want black boys and black girls marrying their white sons and daughters, and in return introducing their grandchildren as half-brown, kinky-haired black people.
I wouldn't object to that.
Well, you wouldn't, but a lot of them would.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people. No, this is the point.
What I'm trying to say is this. You don't have it. You say you don't, but you don't have it. You really ain't gonna have it. You're on the show, and you got to say that. But
that's not true.
Why would you want to do that?
Because I don't think I'm any different from you. You see.
Okay, I'm just gonna like this video and put it in a playlist, and you guys can watch on your own time. Hell, I'll even put it in the comments section. Why not? You can watch on your own time. But anyways, don't go thinking that this is some sort of racist, white supremacist idea that the different races shouldn't mix together. This is an idea that the majority of races all agreed with in the past. Black people in the past did not want to mix with white people, so they had to brainwash black people into saying, see, look, you can get a pretty white girl. Wouldn't that be great if you could have sex with this pretty white girl? Wouldn't that be awesome? They had to brainwash black people and use just use their sexuality against them. And they did the same with men. With white people, they're like, you're a bad person. You're like racist if you don't allow interracial mixing. So it's just because both whites and blacks did not want to mix back then. Okay, they pushed it and brainwashed both whites and blacks into this mixing thing. So don't go thinking it's anything to do with racism or white supremacy. It's not homophobia or transphobia or any of that.